Hi, I'm calling this one a leather report. I just wanted to give you a bit of an update really on a few things. So I'm going to chat about the mailbags that I make and a little bit about how I go about that. Then on to scrap leather, of which I have quite a lot at the moment, but again, what I do with some of that. And also a little bit about old tools as well. So I'll get going. And first thing up I wanted to mention was I've done a batch of mailbags, and I like doing these. I've done them in black this time, so I did a batch of 4. I've sold 3 of the 4 now, so there's one lovely bag left. But what I particularly wanted to mention about these was the rivets, and I used brass rivets on this one, and I think they go rather nicely, look rather smart. Brass rivets are actually jolly hard. I have popped the film up on riveting, but one of the things that you'll find if you start using the brass rivets is they, certainly the Tandy ones, are very hard indeed. So it takes quite a lot to sort of hammer them into shape. The copper ones are far easier. Now with the bags, when I do a bag like that, there are a lot of steps obviously making it. So what I do, I have like some instructions. I just jot down whenever I do a bag all the steps that you need to take in making them, and I just find it sort of helps me keep on track, because some things you want to, you know, sew a flap on, for example, before you assemble a bag, just because of the machine access, and you need to sort of think it through about, you don't want to get to a sort of stage where you've got a bag assembled and then you've got to rivet something or sew something into the bottom and you just can't get your hands or your machine or tool or whatever in there. So I do plan these things out, and I've got it now as quite a careful sort of set of lists. I've been using paper templates, so I have lots of different templates for different processes when I make a bag, and I find those useful to draw around. And I use, got them here actually, the little silver leather marking pens. You can get these on Amazon or eBay, leather marking pens, and they're pretty good. You can mark the leather and then sort of see the cut round it. So, and I've popped the film up actually on making the mailbag, so you'll see exactly the sort of steps I go through with that. But what I want to do, and what I'm going to be working on early next year now, is doing more on the cutters. So I have steel rule cutting die, and quite a good supply of it, which I want to do more of these sort of cutter blocks. So what happens with these is I bend the cutting die, it's like a sharpened knife edge the whole way around, mount it on a wooden block, and then using a 20-ton press I can cut out leather shapes with it, and it just makes things more accurate and speeds it up a little bit as well. So that's one of the things I want to with the bags, get 1 or 2 of my bags done with these cutters. So I'll be making that. I have been sort of accumulating an old industrial bender, so I've got one of those to help with the actual bending. It's quite hard to bend this stuff. I've popped the film up using a ring bender, which works pretty well, but I want to get some more intricate shapes bent, so I have now got the sort of professional version, if you like, so I can get very fine detail bends. But I'll share something with that later on. So that's one of the sort of things I want to do on the bag making front. Now, I should just add, there are lovely bags on my website, and if you're stuck for Christmas presents, do have a look. Anyway, moving on. Scrap leather. I get quite a bit of scrap leather, and sometimes what I do is I sell it off to friends or give it to friends or whatever, which I find is quite a good way. I have recently actually acquired quite a lot of scrap leather purposely, not of my usual nice veg tan quality leather, but actually from a sofa company, a lot of their trimmings. I wanted to knock up quite a few tool rolls and things, and for rough service things, I wouldn't want to do it for sort of products, you know, otherwise, but for rough service things, it's pretty good. And of course it costs literally next to nothing. So the sorts of things I'm talking about, they're offcuts you get if you go to any sofa company where they make sofas. They'll have stacks of this sort of leather in reasonable sizes, which they can't use in the sofa business at all, but are quite useful. I mean, you know, a bit like that, you can make a tool roll, and that's actually exactly what I've been doing. So I have a wee collection here of tool rolls, but these are actually just for stitching tools. I just wanted, with my courses and that, I wanted a safe way of storing and keeping tools. So I thought, well, I'll quickly knock out some of these little holders. And it's just a simple little leather tool roll, nothing fancy, knots over, and you've got your tools all nice and safe, won't hurt anyone, and you can instantly get at them and see they're all there okay. So I've been doing those. Obviously you can do lots of other things with the scrap leather, so really it's up to your imagination. Sometime I want to try, again, just experimenting really, making some leather animals. So I'll use some of these scraps and just try making, see if I can make a cat or something like that out of leather, and have a bit of fun really experimenting. But it would be good to try, and it's the sort of thing you may want to sort of have a go at without, as I say, buying expensive lovely vegetable tanned leather. So that's the reason I've got it. I've got a couple of boxes of this sort of stuff now, and I'll, as I say, use it. I'll film up of one of my experiments at some time. I have also made one, I had fun actually making a large tool roll, so multicoloured tie, and I stitched, because it's a far bigger one, I stitched bits of leather together so you get the fun of different colours. But this actually brings me on to leather tools. Now I buy quite a few sort of newish tools, but I do like to, if I can get hold of them, I do like the old tools. And here's a case in point, beautiful bit of forging on this old Dixon hole punch. And these are a couple of my latest little acquisitions, but I'll keep an eye out for things like this. The quality is just absolutely, you know, fantastic on these old ones. And when you use them, and this is an important thing, if you get a lot of the modern punches aren't tapered. So if you punch a hole in a thick bit of leather, you struggle to get the punch out. With these old ones, they're beautifully tapered. So you punch the hole and the extraction is just easy. You just pull it out, easy peasy. So, and look at the forging. I have to say, I admire it just because I like the blacksmithing. What I do when I get them, and this one's the case in point, they'd use a metal hammer on it. Fortunately, the cutting edge is absolutely fine, but the top was really mushroomed over, and that's actually quite dangerous because you get little shards of metal breaking off. So I put it on the bench grinder and just tidied up the top to get it nicely ground around. But yeah, nice little set of punches there. Collect them individually, soon get a set if you keep going for a year or two, and all just in a little scrap leather tool roll. So that's quite good fun. Which I think finally really brings me on to my leather courses, and I'm running next year a few courses. I'm running some in Sevenoaks, UK, so that's Sevenoaks, Kent. It's about 25 miles south of London, very good train services, just off Junction 5 of the M25, and I'm running those on 20th of January, 10th of March and 16th of June. So that's 20th Jan, 10th March, 16th June, and there'll be a chance for you to have a go at a bit of sewing, making something like a notebook cover, and meet some other people also who are keen on leather work, including myself. So it should be good fun, and only £55. So there's details of those on my website, and please go and have a look. And then I think really all it leaves me to say now is thanks very much for watching all the films during the year, and I hope you'll have a good time next year. I'll continue to pop films up. What I'll tend to do is probably, while the weather's not so good, put up more of the leather working, and then as we get into the better weather, get some more woodworking up. I am having a bit of a sort out in my poorly neglected woodshed here, so I will try and get that up and running a bit better than it has been. But anyway, thanks so much indeed. Okay, bye bye then.